All right, welcome back to the Delete Laws channel. The goal here is to delete laws that are anti-human and that distract, deceive, divide, dehumanize, and demoralize us. That is the goal. That are anti-human. Oops. Sorry about the reverb. Let me know if you guys can hear me before we get started, because I don't like talking into the air. So if you took your time to join us today, this Friday afternoon at 5:31 p.m. Central Standard Time, I really appreciate it. We're going to hit some really interesting nuggets of truth today. And before people pile in here, I just want to go over and remind people that, I don't believe all cops are bad. I just don't see the evidence of any cops being good. And this right here is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. On July 17th, 2023, this guy named Jim Skinner, who is basically the treasurer and chair of government affairs for the National Sheriff's Association, who says that he speaks for 386 sheriffs across the country. Keep in mind, there's only 3,144 counties in the entire nation. So he's speaking on behalf of all the sheriffs in the country. And I'm talking about sheriffs, not deputies, because the deputies are under the sheriffs. These are the head guys, the head honchos of the sheriff's department in every single county, virtually every single county. This is Jim Skinner asking on behalf of all those sheriffs to please keep civil asset forfeiture, which is basically armed, legalized robbery, intact. That tells me that there's not one good sheriff. And if a stream down here can't rise any higher than its source, and the source is the sheriff and every sheriff's department, then you can't expect deputies to rise higher than that level. So if every sheriff believes that you need to keep civil asset forfeiture or legalized armed robbery intact, then every deputy likely believes that as well. So we know, according to this letter, there are no good sheriffs in America, because if they were good sheriffs, they wouldn't be begging a congressman, I Patch McCain, which is Dan Crenshaw, Dan Red Flag Law Crenshaw, wouldn't be begging him to strike down HR 1525. This is a big deal. I keep coming back to it. Look at this right here. It's called the HR 1525, the FAIR Act, which massively minimizes the power of civil asset forfeiture. So when people go, man, it's not fair for you to say that all cops are bad. Okay, just prove to me that there's one good cop. Or in this case, prove to me there's one good sheriff. You can't be for armed, legalized robbery of the American people under the guise of, we got to do something about the Mexican drug cartels. You can't be for civil asset forfeiture and be a good sheriff. Therefore, you can't be for civil asset forfeiture. And that's just one thing. That's just one thing. That doesn't even count the drug war. That doesn't count buying into the Patriot Act or any of that. Let's just take one thing: civil asset forfeiture. You cannot be a good sheriff and be for any measure of civil asset forfeiture. And let me remind you what civil asset forfeiture is: that they can take your property without charge, without trial, without due process of law. They just believe, hey, we believe that this vehicle has been used in the illicit drug trade. We believe all that money that you have in your pocket, you're using that to buy drugs or sell drugs or trade drugs. They don't need to charge you with a crime. All they got to do is take your money. I always bring up the example of Stephen Lara, because he's the first one that always pops up in my mind. He's driving from Texas to California to go visit his daughters with his life savings of $87,000. Not a criminal. He's a veteran. And he gets pulled over by the Nevada Highway Patrol, and they seize all of his money and leave him with nothing. And the only reason they gave the money back is because a law firm, I think it was the ACLU, got involved and shined the spotlight on him. Or was it the American Civil Liberties Union? It was either them or another law firm, but they got involved. There was a public outcry. They screamed uncle and gave Stephen Lara all of his money back, but not before somebody, went to bat for him on the legal front. That is extremely dishonest. That's roadside piracy. Legalized roadside piracy is what they want to keep intact. So when anybody tells me that I'm going overboard with this, all cops are bad thing, hey, just go ahead and prove to me there's one good sheriff in the country. Prove to me there's one good deputy in the country. This doesn't even count traffic citations, which completely violate constitutional law. Brian, you're going overboard with that. You're just broad brushing. Well, no, they're broad brushing. Look, he says, on behalf of the nation's 3,086 sheriffs, the National Sheriff's Association therefore asks you to vote against the bill that would limit civil asset forfeiture. That's utterly evil. And I know I keep using this word, but it's the most potent word and the most powerful and effective and descriptive word that I can use to describe what's going on here. So if anybody asks you, hey, is he, I'm not even a cop hater. I recognize that they're fellow human beings like us, but those fellow human beings, I also recognize that Ted Bundy was a fellow human being, that Charles Manson was a fellow human being, that, who's that guy that was eating kids and storing body parts under his basement, just John Wayne Gacy or whoever. They're fellow human beings, but there's something wrong with them. Their minds have been messed up somehow, and their actions tell us that there's some serious internal conflict going on, and they should be removed from society. They should absolutely not be given power and control and authority over society. And for God's sake, don't give them power, control, and authority and a badge and a gun and tell them they got qualified immunity. Don't do that. If the problem with the world is that there are bad people, then the last thing that you want to do is give some of those bad people qualified immunity and a gun. Now they got pistols and prisons at their disposal. That's a powerful individual, and you can't stand against them without being taken down. That's why I titled this right here, Be Kind to Police Always, Never Question Them. Completely tongue-in-cheek, being absolutely sarcastic. You got to stand. At what point do you stop standing for your rights? At what point? So we're going to get into this, but I also wanted to show you. So that's my case. That's my case for. I'm not going to sit here and say all cops are bad, but I need for you, if you're watching this video, I need for you to prove to me that there's one good sheriff, one good deputy. And if the sheriffs and the deputies believe in the legitimacy of civil asset forfeiture and don't want to get rid of legalized armed robbery, how about just regular police force and police chiefs? We know all the nonsense that they're involved in. We know about all the corruption. We know about the Mullen Commission. We know about the Knapp Commission. We know that the Mullen Commission concluded that, hey, after our deep investigation of the New York City Police Department, all we could conclude is that, you remember the Knapp Commission from the 1970s? Yeah, it was pretty bad. But right now in the 90s, this is 1994, it looks like they're all engaged in active, here, yeah, I'm going to give you a quote, active police criminality. And that was a state-funded investigation into the corruption and policing practices of the NYPD back in the 90s. Do you think now, 30 years later, that's 1994, do you think in 2024 things have gotten any better? Typically, those things get worse. Why? Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. More specifically, power is a vacuum, and it draws like a magnet psychopaths. So power calls out to psychopaths, and psychopaths are just walking around going, power? Yeah, I want power. You don't want power over another person. I don't want power over another person. You know why? Because you're normal. You're not psychopathic. You don't want to exercise power and unbridled control over another person and put them in a position where they can't do anything to resist you. You don't want that. Why? Because you're not a mean, evil person. Only psychopaths want that. And then they justify why they want it. Well, I want my society to be a better place. Oh, you think society is going to be a better place if you have the power and authority? If I was just king for the day, if I could be the sheriff, things would be totally different. But then something happens. Power is a corrupting influence on the nature of mankind. That's why cops need accountability. So that's my argument for, rather than all cops are bad, all you have to do is prove to me that there's one good cop. And let's define good cop, shall we? Does that mean that they do some good things sometimes and we kind of let them slide on these other things? We should really define that. What is a good cop? If you have a problem with me saying I don't see any evidence for there being a good cop, or a cab, all cops are bad, what are we talking about here? What is the definition of good cop? Is good cop an oxymoron like tight slacks, military intelligence, airline food, jumbo shrimp? Is good cop in the category of an oxymoron? It sure looks like it is. It sure looks like it is. Like, I don't think you can have, a good rapist or a good murderer or good wife beater. It's like, you could be married for 20 years and have a great track record, but one night you got drunk, you're out with your buddies, your wife ticked you off and you beat her. One time in 20 years. You know what you're going to be called for the rest of your life? Just one mistake. You're going to be known for that negative. You're going to be known for that moment of negativity instead of almost over 20 years of positivity. That's just how life works. One bad deed can undo a whole lot of good deeds. But what about a whole lot of good deeds? Does that offset the one or two bad deeds? What does that offset the one or two good deeds that a cop does? Because we do see cops doing good things. I played a video, 3 months ago, where that cop wearing that body cam stopped that little kid from choking. That's a good thing. But that's not a good thing exclusive to cops or to EMTs or medical professional. You can stop a kid from choking too if you know what you're doing. So this is not to say that cops don't do some good things sometimes, but they're overall the underlying current of their entire profession is you sign on a dotted line and you swore to protect and defend the rights of the American people and all the laws of the state. You became a law enforcer. Most of those laws, people are like, what laws are you? Just name one law that's evil, that puts people behind bars for no reason. Traffic law, the drug war, the NDAA, the Patriot Act. The Patriot, could you imagine being a TSA agent signing on the dotted line saying, I am going to violate every single American's constitutional rights that comes through my line in my airport? Can you imagine doing that? There's just 4 laws in 4 seconds that I just outlined that are absolutely unconstitutional. And those are the kind of laws that a law enforcer says that they will uphold, and they will ruin your life by upholding those laws. And they hypocritically say, and we'll uphold their rights too. No, you can't uphold rights and tear down rights. You can't say you're going to secure and protect rights and violate rights at the same time. That's called hypocrisy. So that's why I say, rather than, there are no good cops, I'll put it on you guys who think there are good cops. Define what a good cop is, what a good cop would do on a consistent basis. One of those things that is they would weed out the bad cops, but just show me an example of a good cop when they're signing this kind of stuff right here, saying, hey, don't tamper with our ability to exercise legalized armed robbery. Don't do that. That's what we like, and that's what we want to do. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. The next thing I thought you guys would think would be interesting is I asked ChatGPT today, why so much corruption within police departments? I thought the answer was fascinating. Corruption within police departments, ChatGPT says, can stem from various factors, including systemic issues, organizational culture, individual behaviors, and external pressures. Here are some key reasons why corruption may occur within police departments. It should say, here are some of the reasons corruption does occur in every police department. And check this out. Lack of oversight and accountability. Why are we seeing this mad rush in the last 10, 15 years of transparency or accountability channels? Because we have realized as an American people that there is a lack of transparency and accountability within law enforcement agencies. They don't like the transparency that they try to convince you they love. In some cases, inadequate oversight and accountability mechanisms within police departments can create opportunities for corruption to thrive. You think? If you've got all this power and you think you can get away with it, guess what the corrupt will do? They'll try to get away with it. And they'll try to keep on getting away with it. And then they'll commit more things that are corrupt, that are absolutely corrupt in nature. When there's insufficient transparency, supervision, and disciplinary action for misconduct, officers may feel emboldened to engage in unethical or illegal behavior. Oh, yes. We've seen that many, many times. Number two, culture of silence and loyalty. Think the thin blue line gang of silence. Police departments often have a strong culture of loyalty and solidarity among officers to the exclusion of you. They're basically saying, hey, it's one big club and you're not in it. We like that. What was that? Brianna Stewart. I could go 90. You can't. So get the F out of the way. I can go 90 and you can't in a non-emergency situation. Even if it is an emergency situation, there are situations that would not warrant you ever going 90 because you're going to put more lives in danger going to your emergency. So they have this feeling of superiority. They can do things that you can't. And if you did the same things that they do, you get in trouble. So police departments often have a strong culture of loyalty and solidarity among officers, which can discourage whistleblowing or reporting of misconduct. The code of silence or blue wall of silence can contribute to a culture where officers protect each other at the expense of accountability, and integrity happens all the time. ChatGTP is right on point. Number three, external pressures and incentives. Oh, incentives, you say? Like speeding quotas, maybe? Ticket quotas, plaques on the wall, pats on the back, tickets to games, maybe a little slush fund of extra money. And if you get to pull over more people under DUI, external pressures such as performance targets, quotas, or political agendas can create incentives for officers to cut corners or engage in unethical behavior to meet expectations or achieve desired outcomes. Wow. In some cases, officers may face pressure to make arrests, issue citations, or meet revenue targets, leading to abuses of power. Makes me think of Alabama. Remember that? They raked in it was a population of 1,330 people or something like that. And in 1 year, they raked in $614,000 worth of profit to the point where they were getting militarized vehicles in a small podunk little town. And guess who it got exposed by? The people who want accountability and transparency. Some channels went down there and they started exposing things. Organizational dysfunction. Dysfunctional or poorly managed police departments may lack clear policies, procedures, and protocols for handling complaints, investigations, and disciplinary actions. And then when they do get in trouble and they do get called out, and you get this all on video, they put that behind the blue wall of silence, and then you never hear from it again. Or if you FOIA request body camera footage, they withhold it, or they redact it, they edit it. They kick it down the road. They kick that can of the FOIA request down the road 2 or 3 years. By that time, most people have just lost interest. Weak leadership, ineffective management practices, and bureaucratic obstacles can contribute to an environment where corruption goes unchecked. And isn't that what we're all concerned about? I mean, if they are going to commit their evil acts on body cam, what are they doing when they don't think the cameras are rolling? We always ask that question. Social and economic factors. Socioeconomic factors such as poverty, inequality, and community distrust of local law enforcement can exacerbate the likelihood of corruption within police departments. In communities where residents feel marginalized or mistreated by police, there may be a greater tolerance or acceptance of corrupt behavior. Like, I don't know, maybe in Seattle, in Portland, in Buffalo, in St. Louis, in Chicago. opportunities for exploitation. But it doesn't have to be those places. Look at the Broward County Sheriff's Department. Look at all the stuff. Look at all the nonsense and evil that the armed fisherman exposes, that James Madison audits exposes, that Jeff Gray exposes, and they're down there in Florida in a red state. So it doesn't have to be. It's not. I don't even think there's this problem. I don't think the problem is divided into a red or blue. Oh yeah, the police in the blue areas are way worse than the police in the red areas. I don't think that is the case. I don't think that's the case, because we've seen in the red states, my state is Oklahoma, all 77 counties in Oklahoma voted red in the last election. Oops, I'm trying to test for some reason, my StreamYard is not refreshing. What's going on here? I wonder. No, I can't. Changes made may not be saved. That's weird. Okay, so the next one is historical context and institutional legacies. It says addressing corruption within police departments requires a multifaceted approach that includes implementing robust oversight mechanisms. Yeah, who's going to oversee those robust oversight mechanisms? Promoting transparency and accountability. That's what we're here for. Fostering a culture of integrity and ethics, addressing systemic issues, and building trust and legitimacy with the community served. Well, there is no legitimacy when a man says that he has a higher claim over your life and property than you, which is exactly what cops are saying when they step alongside your vehicle with the implied threat of force. All right. With that, I want to just remind you, I just had a live stream with Flex Your Freedoms, and Flex is really going through it, man. He just got done spending 10 days in the local jail. And if you missed it, I did my live stream on my Here's the Deal channel. Take a look at it. But what I'd like to do is I want to support this guy. So if we can go to, I'm going to drop this link right here so you can take a look at this video. I think he doesn't mind me sharing this video right here. This is the video that he uploaded, or maybe, you know what? Maybe it's another one. Maybe it's one that he has listed here. Let me go to his channel real quick. Let's see, videos. Which one did he record? I'm going to try to find out which one he recorded that launched right when he went to jail. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to give you, I'm going to give you the link to the last video. Here's the link to his last video. This is the link right here. Holy cow, Patriot Wolf? What the heck? Patriot Wolf just dropped a massive $100 super chat. Let me catch up on my. Long live the Constitutional Republic of 1776. Patriot Wolf, thank you, man. On behalf of Chille, thank you. I appreciate that. That is crazy generous. I appreciate it. So with Flex Your Freedoms, let me give you, let me do this. I'm going to give you the links. So if you guys want to support Flex, he has spent $25,000 of his own money to defend himself against something he should have never had to defend himself against. And that is just absolutely unconscionable. So there are his links in the chat room if you want to help him out. I want to go over this video right here because I am of the mind that you're an adult. You don't need the government to help you. You don't need the government to organize anything for you. You don't need the government to give you anything. If you want the government to give you something, then you're actually by implication asking them to also take from somebody, because the government can't give you something it has not first taken from another person. And if you're okay with theft, then you want that. If you're not okay with theft, if you're not okay with extortion, you don't want the government doing anything on your behalf, because if they do, it's with the implied threat of force. They force people against their will to do things they otherwise wouldn't have done. The job gets done inefficiently, ineffectively. It's far more expensive than if you subbed it out to have the free market do it alone without the government involved. So with that in mind, we're going to take a look at this news story right here. It says Washington lawmakers aim for felony charges for SeaTac protests, highway obstruction. Now, I am against anybody blocking the roadway. I am against anybody blocking the roadway, because you don't have a right. See, freedoms are rights. Rights are freedoms. You don't have the right to infringe on somebody else's right to travel freely. So when these protesters go into the road, it's not the government's job to get them out of the road. All the people hate that they do that. The people who aren't them standing in the road, the people who are being hampered, who need to get to work, who got to go pick up their kids, emergency services. Hey, somebody's having a heart attack. We got to get through. All these people hate that they got their rights infringed on by these psychopathic protesters who think that they have the right and they have the authority because they have this passion for something which may or may not be displaced. You know, I'm for Palestine because we're for Palestine. We're going to block off this major roadway. And now you're late for your job and you lose your job because, hey, you can't be late to your work. But now I'm late for work because somebody wanted to express how strongly they feel about what's going on in Palestine. Now, it ain't the government's job to get rid of them. If the government just gets out of the way and lets the people do what they're going to do with these protesters, good, bad, or ugly, and it could get ugly, then these protesters will think twice before they go on the roadway again. What if the government said, hey, you know what? I'll tell you what, if you are stupid enough to walk in the middle of a highway and a semi-truck hits you, we're not going to do anything to that semi-truck driver. If you are dumb enough to put a chain across a human chain across the road to try to hamper somebody's progress on the public roadways, I'm not going to be responsible for what happens to you, and neither is the person who may or may not have hit you. Listen to this.
Well, hi there, Mary. You know, what we're typically seeing in cases like this are misdemeanor charges, and some lawmakers feel like that is just a slap on the wrist, especially when you're talking about the dangers here, not only to protesters, to people traveling, and emergency responders who may need to get by.
Right in the middle of peak travel time, pro-Palestinian protesters use their bodies and cars to block the...
Let me just play this back. Look at these people. Look at these people. They duct tape their arms together. God.
Bodies and cars to block the expressway to SeaTac Airport. So intense, some frantic travelers walk to the terminal instead. 3 hours of this has led to this.
Protesters, be aware.
What in the... For the love of God, for the love of all that is holy, what the absolute frick is this?
We support.
I don't care about them being on the side of the road, but in the middle of the road, stopping progress. Give me a break.
Support your First Amendment freedom of speech rights. We do not support you interrupting the lives and safety of your fellow citizens.
Republican Representative Spencer Hutchins has renewed his call for a new law, one that would make intentionally obstructing a freeway a felony. He and other lawmakers
look at this. Look at them. Let me expand that. Look at these people on this public roadway right here. That ain't gonna happen, and that will not fly in Oklahoma. Will not fly. How about you in your state? Do you think people would tolerate this for a moment? The first person wouldn't be able to make his way across the highway. Matter of fact, I think there was did they make a law, or did the governor come out, DeSantis, did he come out in Florida saying, hey, if you walk in the street and you get hit, okay, whatever.
After a similar protest on I-5 in Seattle in January, that legislation got no traction.
We need to put some more teeth in the law to say this behavior, these actions are unlawful.
No, you don't want another law. You don't want another law. More laws mean less freedoms for the people. The people should be left alone and free to take care of the situation themselves. And they will. They'll do it way better than government. Government just has to get out of the way. We can build roads better than government. You know, by the way, government really doesn't build roads. They fund the roads through extortion, which is taxation. But who do they hire? They hire contractors, but they do it for a super high price, and they're not picky about who does the roads. That's why they're not being maintained. And the prices are so freaking high. So if you get the government out of the way, the prices come down and the quality and the services get better. You just need to get the government out of the way. The people will take care of all these problems. We don't need a daddy and mommy government taking care of us and wiping our noses and make sure nobody's in the roadways for us.
We will make it a felony.
What kind of penalties are we talking about?
We're talking about fines of anywhere from $1,000 to $6,000 or $10,000, depending on whether you are a follower or a leader. Jail time, 60 days,
Nope.
up to 60 days in jail.
The airport protesters are charged with misdemeanors, a max of 90 days.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and tax the people even more. I bet most of these people can't afford a $1,000 or $6,000 fine. So now we're going to put them in jail for 60 to 90 days. And who's going to take care of them? Oh, that's right. The people that just got interrupted on the roadway. Those are the people that are going to take it. That's real smart. Matter of fact, making this law right here, as I think about it, and we work through this mentally, you actually, by making these laws, you penalize the people who just got penalized by the protesters, because now we get to take care of them in jail.
Days in jail and a $1,000 fine. The I-5 protesters have yet to be charged, but they are facing possible gross misdemeanor charges.
No.
It needs to be impactful to prevent it from happening again.
Oh, you want something impactful, do you? A chain of morons trying to stop your right to travel in the middle of a freeway, linking arms, thinking that's going to stop a 35 or 4,500 pound vehicle or a semi truck going 60 or 70 miles per hour. You want something impactful? I can think of something impactful.
If it were a felony, maybe it would make people think twice.
Robert Stonecipher travels all the time for business.
It's highly inconvenient every time we have these protests. It's dangerous.
In July of 2020, Summer Taylor was killed filming a Black Lives Matter protest on I-5. Adam Sheep is traveling too. He doesn't think changing the law will make a difference.
Yeah, I see it all the time. But I mean, it's like everybody keeps getting away with everything.
My free speech rights can't stop you from traveling.
They got their Tyvek suits on, just sweating like pigs under those things, I'm sure.
Expect House Bill 2358 to be renamed and reintroduced, but that's going to be in the next session. And
So what happens is these people who are forced to wait in line because there's a gaggle of imbeciles across the road, they're going to suffer because now there's more laws in place that we're going to have to fund, and laws serve two purposes. They take away your rights and they steal more of your money. And the people that government is trying to help, it actually hurts, because now the budgets for those places who make more laws, they go up and up and up. And now property taxes continue to go up. And the whole thing gets way out of hand. Now you got this bloated government. And you look back and go, how'd the government get so big? Well, because you asked them to take care of the people on the road. You asked them to build the road, the schools, the bridges. You asked the government for clean running water when you should have been taking care of that yourself. The market dictates if there's a demand, people will find a way to supply and satisfy that demand. You want clean water? You'll get it, because we all want it. And you don't need government to have clean water and get rid of cryptosporidium and giardia and all that other stuff in the water. You want flat roads without potholes? You can get it, and you can get it at a cheap, fair price and have competition in the market. That's another thing about government. They eliminate competition and they get the lowest rung people to do the cruddiest, worst jobs. And a year, 2 years down the road, after a winter, summer, and those cracks start to expand, contract, rain, ice, expand. Now you got all these potholes. Government is not the answer to your problems. If government is the answer to your problems, you are asking the absolute wrong question. So that was that I wanted to deal with. You don't want government creating more laws because there's morons in the world that need laws applied to them. take care of it yourself. And you know, there's plenty of people on the roadway that know this is nonsense. We're getting together. If they continue to resist and try to infringe on our freedoms, going to have to come to blows. This next thing right here, this is from Body Cam Watch. It says twitchy kid turns traffic stop into a wild mess. What turns traffic stops, most if not all traffic stops, into wild messes is that there was a traffic stop in the first place. Traffic stops don't have anything to do with, hey, there's a victim. Hey, you harmed somebody. Hey, I hear that you threatened somebody. You were threatening to kill them, or you were threatening to jeopardize their health or their life or kidnap their kids or something. Hey, I heard that you damaged somebody's property. Hey, I heard that you stole some property. Traffic law has nothing to do with that. Traffic law has everything to do with generating revenue for the state. But Brian, it's about public safety. It's about keeping the road. How are you keeping the roadways safe because somebody didn't pay for a piece of metal on the back of their vehicle every single year? How is that keeping anybody safe? Well, it's making sure that we have licensed drivers, and we know how safe licensed drivers are. Guys, you can't even sit there and tell me that licensed police officer drivers are safe. These people who have the high responsibility of keeping all of us safe are out there constantly putting people in jeopardy on the public roadways. When they're speeding, conducting pit maneuvers on pregnant women, just doing all sorts of nonsense. So let's listen to this real quick and let's see if we can identify what the real problem is.
On May 1st, 2022, officers conducted a traffic stop on a Chevy pickup with 3 occupants.
The reason why I'm stopping is because the registered owner of this vehicle has a suspended license for insurance.
A suspended license? Society may if we get more of you, society may crumble. We will be propelled into the dark ages if we had a high percentage of people who had suspended licenses. You know, there are bigger fish to fry. There are pedos that infest Washington's district of criminals, and those are the leaders of our country. It's within Congress, it's within the Senate houses and the state houses all across the nation. It's in police departments. Did you hear about that cop? I can't remember tell me what state it was. So a couple people put this on their community tab and their community page on YouTube. Some law enforcement official did something to a 13-year-old little girl. She went to the hospital for bruising. Come to find out that she was, exploited in that way. Tell me what the name of that guy was, what the police department was, and where it was. Let me know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You got your license with you?
I do.
Yeah, it's suspended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Biden showering with his daughter.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
For insurance. Do you have your insurance card with you? Or insurance, any sort of insurance information?
Do not on me. My mom was supposed to send it to me and she hasn't yet. But I can get you a copy of it.
Yeah.
Should I send it?
Yeah, if you can get her to send it to you real quick. 1 Delta 20 Central. Does anybody else in the vehicle have identification with them? Delta 24. Yeah. Copy. G boss. My wallet. Shut the door. I'm getting out. Shut the door. My wallet's right here. Okay. First of all, don't open the door and try and get out of a car when you're stopped. I'm sorry, I got PTSD.
There you go. You are not free. People constantly rail on me about, Brian, you're always saying that people lose their constitutionally protected rights at a traffic stop. You know that's not true. If you can't get out of a vehicle, this stop isn't for the guy in the back seat. If you can't get out of a vehicle and just walk away, do whatever you want to do in America, you're not free in America. If you're not free to leave a traffic stop in America, you are not free. If there was ever a basic right of humanity, you have the right to travel down the road unmolested. And if you don't have that right under traffic law, you lose that right.
I'm just trying to this kid. Don't ever try and open the door and get out of it while I'm. Did he drop anything on the ground over there?
What are you dropping?
I did. I was trying to get out.
Here, why don't you hop out because I see that knife right here. All right, hop out.
Hop out because I see a knife right there. Oh no, a knife.
Don't listen. Just hop out. Just hop out. Don't reach for the knife or anything like that. Okay, stand right here for me. I'm gonna pat you down because you're acting all weird. No, I'm not. Give me your hands.
Yep, there you go. Terry v. Ohio, 1968. This is a Terry stop. Well, the Supreme Court gave me the right and the authority to put my hands on you if I feel unsafe. Officer safety trumps individual rights. Traffic law trumps individual rights.
Your hands. Give me the keys.
I don't understand what is happening right now. Like,
What is going on?
I'm gonna pat you down because you already saw that knife that you tried to reach for. Right
I didn't
there.
try to reach for a knife, man. It's on the floor. It's not even mine.
Drop what's in your hand right now.
So far, you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a bunch of victims in a car that 5 minutes prior to this were minding their own business, and now they're getting roughed up by aggressors, and society accepts this because the aggressors happen to have clown costumes on. What a crazy world.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put a cuff on that one. Put a cuff on 24 or 5 1. Put a cuff on that one. Stay in the truck. Dude, stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Stop resisting. What if you stopped and said, stop aggressing? Stop aggressing. Stop resisting my aggression.
Dude. Let go of the fence. Dude, you're about to get tamed. Okay, relax then. What's he reaching for? He's got a phone in his hand.
Let me offer some criticism to this kid too. If you're being treated by this like this by cops, it's happening to you. Okay. Just be a man about it. Just be a man about it. You know, this sucks. It's unjust, but make sure when you get to the end of it, because stuff like this somehow, from what I've heard, I could be wrong, but this is what I'm hearing, is that when inmates get a load of what happened and they hear about what happened and how you acted, they tend to pick on you more. That's one thing. Number two, come on, just I take it, because it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. Well, oh, Brian, are you saying if you don't do what the cops say, it's going to get worse? Well, yes, it gets worse, but you could also be complying and it gets worse. I mean, we've seen that before too. It's like you're in a catch-22. So make sure when you come out at the end of it, you played the man. You were the man.
Let me get this.
Yeah, exactly. They are not helping it. If he has PTSD, they did not help that along at all. They completely amplified it. Yeah, maybe. And Genocide Joe makes a good point. Have you seen people with that? They are in a different world from it. Yeah, I mean, I could be being unfair. I could be being unfair. I'm not in a situation where other people are. They're not in my situation. So, maybe a little bit of empathy and compassion on my part. It's just that, I don't know. I got my opinions about it.
He tried to pick up the knife off the ground. That other guy, go up to him. He's trying to pull something out of his pocket. Which one? Front passenger. What is it? What is it? What is it? He's got a... Hey, 10-12 him.
I don't know
Turn
what
around. Put your hands behind your back. No, wait, why am I getting arrested? Whoa.
Are they saying there's a gun, a firearm, or what are they saying?
Why am I getting arrested? Whoa, I did nothing. Drop. Officer, I did nothing. Delta 24 Center. We got anybody else coming to us? Sir, what am I getting arrested for? Whoa. Do not reach for anything. Stand up. No, stand up. You're being detained. For what, sir? I have nothing on me, I promise. I swear to God. Sir. Hands on the steering wheel and don't let go. Hands on the steering, do not let go. Officer, please. Do you have any weapons on you? Absolutely not, sir. I've done nothing. Okay. I've done nothing. All right. Sir. Stand over here. Yes, sir.
Do you own your home in Oklahoma, but still rent your electricity? If you pay more than
Oh God. Oh God.
Let's just sit right here on this curb. Put your feet out in front of you and do not move. Sure. Here. All right. You guys 10-12 her?
What's happening, bro? My girlfriend.
You trying to get shot? Why'd you
No.
try to pull the gun out?
I didn't. I was trying to give it to y'all. I don't want to have that shit. It ain't mine.
I told you I was patting you down. I don't need you reaching for a gun that you're hidden in your pants.
He was trying to take something out of his right pocket.
I was trying to
Stand up.
I was trying to reach for my cigarettes.
Stand up.
Yes, sir.
If you have a gun or anything on you.
Dude, sir. Yeah, nothing. I apologize to my friend. I don't know.
How many other people are in the vehicle?
Don't ever apologize for somebody else. I apologize for my friend. Wait, first of all, you don't even know what he did, and maybe he doesn't want you apologizing for him.
You had a gun in your pants and you tried running from us.
Oh, okay. He said he had a gun in his pants. Who cares? Don't we have a Second Amendment? Now, Mr. Copper, if you feel insecure, maybe you should stop pulling people over because they probably have guns. And you don't want to encounter, if you don't want to encounter somebody with a gun, stop pulling them over for nonsense where they didn't commit a crime. They didn't leave a victim. Why don't you find another line of work, or just maybe rehabilitate the police force from within and commit yourself to solving real crimes? How about that? That's an idea. Yeah, exactly, Gloria. Plead the fifth. Invoke it.
Mr. Watt, I'm gonna leave it in there right now, okay?
I apologize for
Stop
what
talking.
he did. I don't know why the hell he did that.
No, that's it. 20 Central. Through the channel, you can clear it. We have no one outstanding. Everyone's 10-12.
Yep, this is exactly it. Road pirates striking again.
Yeah. A couple more in his pocket.
That's fine. We got it. He recorded it on his phone, so we have evidence. We're going to take this as evidence, okay? I just stopped the recording.
So what do we got here? Is this a gun? Yeah, it looks like a gun right here. So he had a gun in his pocket. So what? So what? A lot of Americans look at that like, oh my God, he had a gun in his pocket. He could have jeopardized the life of the police officer.
I was just picking you up a friend.
We were out with someone here. Okay, I just didn't know if there's a reason why they pulled over here. Okay, so you guys don't know anybody here? Who do you know in the neighborhood?
I was coming here. Yes, sir. Yeah. She dropped me off.
Guys, I am telling you, a majority of these people's problems would be solved if they stopped talking to the police, invoked their Fifth Amendment right to be silent. Then the cops couldn't get you on anything verbal.
All right. You made the wrong choice today, bud.
He was trying to pull that out of his pants.
No, I wasn't, sir. I promise you I was trying to get out of the car.
The entire time. Because you kept reaching and you tried to grab the knife. Listen, you tried to grab the knife, and then when I was trying to pat you down, then you tried to run.
Sir, please listen.
Okay? I'm not going to listen to anything. There's nothing to hear. I did. All right. Sir, like I told you, you're just being detained right now. Okay? It doesn't mean you're charged with anything. As long as you cooperate and everything like that.
I apologize to my friend.
Do not pay attention to or believe the soothing words of a law enforcement officer ever, because that will go south on you that quick, and you can never be sure if they're telling the truth or if they're lying.
Honest about what's going on and everything like that, okay? All right. His decision, not yours.
Yeah, these look like Gestapo actions to me, for sure.
I don't know. Did you guys pat her down when you guys 10-12 her?
No, sir, we did not.
Okay. Just double check if he had a 0 in his pants. Get in the
Car, dude, stop acting like a child.
Go on the other side. I'll grab him and pull him in.
Stop. Okay, I'll stop acting like a child the moment you stop acting like a pirate.
Hey, when I pulled up, wait, real quick, when I pulled up, I was pulling here. I saw that door open, and I saw you over here talking with them.
I think
He had closed it. Yeah, he had closed it. I came up here. When I opened the door, there's a knife right here. When I open the door, there's a knife here, and he's grabbing, reaching down. The knife here, he's reaching for that. There's a bullet there. I get him out here, and I got his hands behind his back, and he keeps trying to move around. He's trying to grab for his pocket. He's got a phone in his hand. He's got it on record. I'm holding his hands, and I'm like, listen, stop moving or whatever. And then he tried to buck, and then we just went right here. So I patted him down, but I didn't pull anything out of his pockets yet.
We got hand sanitizer.
I got some. So.
Whatever, we're down here if you don't mind.
All right, I'll need some. I'll need some too.
Yeah.
You got a good license?
No, I didn't even know my license was suspended.
Hey, remember the day we were on the phone with you? We called you about this truck, and we told you your license wasn't no good?
So, like, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Obviously, you didn't get it fixed from 2 weeks ago to today, right?
I'm usually not the one that's driving.
All right. Well, today you were, right? So.
So, am I getting arrested?
Not necessarily, but.
You're being detained in handcuffs right now. Whether you get charged or not with something that we can release you with at MTA today, we'll see. It depends on what's in the vehicle, depends your driving history, all that stuff. That all depends.
Don't I have to give you consent to search my vehicle?
No, you got marijuana in plain view right here.
But that's not mine.
It's in your vehicle.
And I'm supposed to know when somebody else gets in my vehicle and doesn't say anything?
You're responsible for everything that's inside your vehicle. As the driver, you are responsible, yes, for anyone and anything that goes inside your vehicle. You're responsible for their safety and you're responsible for your own. Whatever.
There's a round right here.
Yeah, we're good.
He's like, I hate this jacket. That's a Stars and Stripes jacket. I like my thin blue line jacket. Oh boy. Oh boy. I can't stand this stuff. Who wants to waste their life with a video game?
Concrete's unforgiving. Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see what happened?
You know, it'd be hilarious if these people right here just turn their backs and say, we don't talk to police. We invoke our Fifth Amendment right. And then cops just got shunned and nobody would talk to police. They wouldn't be able to stand it. They can't stand it when you don't interact with them.
You were fighting with them?
No. I walked out.
You saw the two deputies fighting? Would you be willing to fill out a statement? Okay.
I'm pretty sure these are controlled substances. Here's somebody else's medication. All right, I'm going to do an actual search. Do you have anything on you that I need to know about?
I have nothing on me.
All right, so if I don't find anything on you and the jail finds it, it's not one, but probably two additional felony charges.
Now I'm going to jail?
Oh, absolutely. Spread your feet.
For what?
Driving with a suspended license, and then you have narcotic paraphernalia in your possession.
Wow.
All right. Do you want to put her in my car for now?
So she gets to go to prison to be physically assaulted and abused, body cavity searched, stripped. God, this is just so infuriating.
Yeah.
Can I at least get my phone?
Figure that out here in just a second. Where's your phone?
In there.
What does it look like? Phone?
I think model.
I mean, it's got a blue case on it.
Okay.
They need to abolish the drug war like they abolished the alcohol war back in 33.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sensitive subject.
No, I'm sorry.
Good thing you're all right.
Good. Yeah. Thank you.
Else, let me know.
Yeah.
Where you guys come around, we appreciate it. We've been trying for years trying to get it because they're coming through here more and more.
Yeah, no problem.
No, thank you. We absolutely appreciate it.
We're just going to sort out what charges for who and all that right now. So
I think the trifold would have helped her. You know, when you can hand a cop information to show that you're informed, I think it would help to give the cop that material and say, I am right now invoking my right to be silent. And if everybody else did that, then they couldn't separate them and get everybody's little stories, because not everybody, even if you rehearse the story, not everybody's going to get your story straight. And it's none of the cops' business in the first place. But if you all said nothing, it would be absolutely perfect and consistent. Guys, never talk to police, but especially never talk to police if they separate you from the people who are in the car with you. Never, ever, ever do that.
This kid in the back that was that resisted with the gun. So
I'm
I call him kid, but he's an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Guys, retired police will tell you don't talk to police. Every lawyer will tell you don't talk to police. So talk to police is not just my advice from my personal experiences or for the thousands and thousands of hours I've watched on YouTube, and you have too. It comes from people who are professionals in the field, including cops. A cop will also tell you never take a field sobriety test. They are designed to make you fail. We want you to talk to us because we are extracting information that we are not going to use for you, for your benefit. We're going to use it against you. Stop talking to police.
Get in the car.
Awesome. Thanks, Profoot.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And that right there is where the video ends. I don't know. Leave your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think that they deserve to be pulled out of their car, their property towed, harassed? Do you think they deserve that? What was the actual crime again? Do you think it's legitimate for human beings dressed as costumes coming out of clown cars to harass you because you didn't pay for a piece of metal or a tag for your piece of metal in the back of your car, or you have an expired permission slip called a driver's license from the government? I don't know. Leave your thoughts about it. What I'd like to do right now is I'm going to open the invite link. So if you guys want to come on board and add something substantial to the conversation, there's the link right there. If you want to come in and talk, not it's like I always say, just something substantial, just something substantive that you think everybody who's listening can benefit from here. Especially, if you're a detractor, if you hate Chille, why do you hate him? Let me know. Yeah, he was cop-splaining. Oh, let me see. Let me do this. So Patriot Wolf just threw, a big chunk of generosity this channel's way. I really appreciate that, Patriot Wolf. Also became a new member and then gifted 20 Delete Laws memberships to the channel. Patriot Wolf, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Cesario Sarato. What's up?
How you doing there, Brian? I was on your stream last week. I don't know if you remember, but
yeah, no, I remember you, man. I remember.
I kind of made a mistake. I live in Denver, but the case happened in Aurora, so I forgot. But my mistake.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, but here, you know what I want to disagree with you on? I'm gonna tell you what I disagree with you on. You say
no, I can't. I'm fragile. I can't handle disagreement. No, please don't disagree with me. No,
you're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this one. You're gonna love it. You like to say, and I hate this quote. Give me liberty or give me death. I hate that. How about give me liberty or give you death? Why should I die because you don't want to give me liberty? To me, that's
my God.
stupid. To me, that's stupid. You know where I got the idea from? A soldier, an ex-military guy, he told me this. He said, it's not honorable for you to die for your country. It's honorable to make him die for his. When I heard that, I thought, wow. So I use that with the liberty. Don't give me liberty. Give me liberty, give you death. That's how I say it, Brian.
You know what's so funny about that? I have said that for so long. Right when you said that, I totally accept that, first of all. I have never, as easy it is to tweak that and say what you just said, and I totally agree with it, I never considered that. It's like, yeah, wait a second. Why should I give me liberty and you die? I don't want to die. I got people that depend on me,
Yeah.
Totally agree, man. Good point. Thank you.
Well, no problem with that. I'm so glad that even though I went through, I've been screwed over through the court system so many times. I've lost almost every case over some kind of corruption thing. The only time I beat a case is because one of the cops lied on some other stand or something, and IA was on them, internal affairs. And the only reason why I beat that case because they couldn't use him against me, so they just plead me out, and I beat the case on a plea. But it was still pretty terrible. But that was the only way I beat. I had like 5 cases. I lost them all. All of them were all the cases I lost. They were no damage to a person, no damage to property. It was just a bunch of nonsense, whatever. But I wanted
let
to say,
let me ask you a question. What was your total out of pocket expense for all that?
oh, every time 5,000, 7,000, 8,000, and that's just attorney's fees. That has nothing to do with court fees, nothing to do with probation. Oh no. Oh, here's a kicker on probation. Probation charged me like $1,500 to be on probation, blah blah blah. UAs, urine analysis test for charges or convictions I got that had nothing to do with alcohol. Stupid. Okay, here was one of the charges on. It was like $150 for a victim fee. So I told the the probation officer, can you waive that charge? There's no victim here. Sorry, we can't do that. It's a general fund for everybody. But I just said I don't have no victim. Sorry, that's just for everybody.
Yeah.
What? $150 for a victim fund I have to pay into that I didn't have no victim. I mean, it's nonsense.
Yeah, it's like talking to a robot. It's like, no, it's in our policy. This is what we have to do. We got to do this because it's written down. Look, the sign says this, so we got to do it. It's like a childish mentality.
I'll tell you what, Brian. Here's a secret that I learned in jail. I was in jail for like 2 days. This nonsense, stupid, right? I was telling even the guards agree, but what are they going to do about it? I tell them, why am I in here? If I'm innocent till proven guilty, I'm charged with these things. I'm not convicted, so why am I in here? And I say, oh, we don't know. Nothing we could do about it. It's just the law. Yeah, whatever. So here's a secret for at least in Denver, this is how it works. I don't know about Nevada, but maybe you can tell Chille that kosher meal is always best than whatever the slop they serve with in General Pop. And you'll be a hero when you give everybody your food that you don't want. You go out on General Pop and it's time to eat or whatever. And when you give your Sallies your food, you become the hero.
So have you applied that?
Of course. That's why I'm telling you.
Okay, so tell me how that works. Do you have to let the kitchen staff know that you're kosher? You can only
no.
What
What you do, you fill out a kite and you request kosher food. So when they give, it might take a day, but whatever. It's better than the slop that they feed in General Pop. And so you'll be a hero because when they serve you your food and you don't eat it, say, you know what, I'll just take the apple or the orange. They usually give you a fruit or two and then the rest of it's slop. Yeah, just you tell your Sallies, you can have my food. I just give me the orange and the apple and I'm good. And they love you. You're the king. And then what happens when somebody else tries to take your food, your Sallies all back you up. It's really cool. In the lowest form. I mean, like I said, I was in jail for only 2 days, 3 days at the most, just waiting for them to see the judge and the whole process. And they don't care. They'll take however long they don't care. But other than that, it's not so bad.
Give me an example of what kind of kosher food they give you upon request.
Like a piece of chicken. It's actually pretty good, pretty tasty. It's in a like a TV dinner, but it's still better than the slop that that they give you. Oh, still better. So that's a trick he could use if you want a better meal. I'm not saying it's the best meal, but it's a way better meal than the slop they give you in General Pop.
Do you have to declare somewhere along the line? Do you have to declare a religion to actually do that?
No. You don't need to be a certain religion to eat kosher. Anybody could eat kosher. Okay. Anybody could. Somebody could just because they want a better health. The kosher does not mean health, but in the jail, it's a better a meal. And once you request it, you always get it. It's not you have to keep requesting it every day. No, it's one time, and that you don't eat the slop because you get it, but you don't want to anyway. You get a kosher meal. That's a good thing to do if he wants a better meal.
Right. All right, man. Good deal. Thank you, Cesario. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
Okay.
Paul Trickett, welcome to the show, man. You're on.
Hey, what's going on, my man?
How are you doing?
Trying to stick in there for Chille, man.
Hey, can you sums up with your audio? It's like you're really far away and you're really muffled. I don't know what's going on with that. I can't hear. It's almost like you're on like system audio, but you're way far away. It's hard to hear you. Are you there? Uh-oh, he froze. Paul Trickett, if you can hear me, just come back in. I'm going to remove you from the room, but not because I don't like you. Oh, can you hear me? Is that better?
Hello?
Okay, I can. Yeah, you're still far away, but go ahead.
All right. Well, the whole thing is I can completely identify with what Chille's doing, and I just want to know everybody to know that I changed my name to Big Willie and changed my picture, and I'm still a big supporter, and I'm still hanging in here. I want everyone to know that I'm not going to stop either. So, since I sound like shit out there, I'm going to let y'all go.
All right, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Roots to Sovereignty. You are live. How you doing?
Hey, Brian.
Hey,
Greetings.
Hi. How you doing?
anarchist.
No, for real, we're anarchists, man.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Where are you guys? What state are you guys coming from?
We're in Puerto Rico.
We're in the
okay.
we're in the last colony on Earth, Puerto Rico.
Okay, so tell me why are you guys? Well, tell me what you wanted to say first, and then I got a bunch of questions for you. So go ahead.
Okay.
Oh my God, we don't even know where to start. How about you ask us the questions and then
Okay.
we'll go from there.
Okay. So I take it you guys born in America and then you moved to Puerto Rico? If that's the case, why did you move there and how do you like it?
I was born in Italy, and I decided to move to Puerto Rico when I was about in my 20s, and I fell in love with this island, and I just stayed here. And then I just got into the whole activism thing, and I met Javier, and go right ahead.
I was born in New York, Brooklyn, and I was there till about age 10. Both my parents are from Puerto Rico, and at age 10, my dad moved us here, and we adopted a farm lifestyle. So I have a background in agriculture, and then I joined the Coast Guard, and I've been back and forth from the States, the continental United States, to the island pretty much my entire life.
So are you in the Coast Guard right now?
No, I did 23 years in the Coast Guard.
Okay.
I woke up towards the latter part of my career about what was really going on. Luckily, I didn't go to war. I saved a few lives while I was in there. But I was still part of the military-industrial complex. I'm not trying to kid anybody or myself.
Right, right. So on the liberty/tyranny scale, how is it living in Puerto Rico as far as the authorities staying off your back and the freedom that you guys experience there?
It's the same thing, dude.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. The cops here are just like any other cops. I mean, you know about the test they take. They pick. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. They pick who they pick. I don't want to use derogatory words here, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the lowest mental denominator where they're just going to be order followers and
Correct.
forget about what's right. Yeah.
Correct. So I moved here after I retired from Florida in 2015, and I started to get back into the sustainability. So we grow our own food. I don't pay a light bill. I have my own power. We collect rainwater. We drink well water. And we're activists, especially during the pandemic. It was intense down here. It
Yeah.
was the show, the circus here at the airports. It was people wearing hazmat suits for the entire 3 years that this thing went on.
I can just tell you one thing. The mind of the Puerto Rican is a colonized mind.
Yes.
And it's very sad. It's absolutely sad.
And it's because of the history here. I mean, the
Right.
Spaniards were here for 500 years under a tyrannical rule.
Yeah.
Then the United States invaded here. They teach us lies in history, you know that. So I found out after I was like in my 30s or 40s the real story about how the United States corporation invaded here. It wasn't, you know. So that's when I really got into being an activist here, and I didn't go to jail. I had a couple of friends that were in the group. You know, we shut down the highway at one point here. It was pretty intense. I was able to help those couple of friends get out of jail, not using what you're coming into contact now with Brandon Williams and the whole contract thing and admiralty law and all this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it worked?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine, Jorge Colon. He was one of the first ones that defied, besides me, the mask wearing mandates in the airport. And they arrested him. They took him to jail. We had a big group at that time, a big following, and we were following him all over the place. They were changing him from jail to jail. I'm telling you, it was a nightmare. He posted bail. All of us got together. We chipped in, and he posted bail. And then I got him out of the court hearings, and they dropped the charges. Then the TSA chimed in and wanted to charge him $13,000 for not wearing a mask and using the whole law for mankind. That's another subject, but that's what I used. I used what I learned in that course, wrote them correspondences, and they dropped the charges as well.
And they dropped it because of the letters and the correspondence you sent them to?
Yes,
to them?
Yes, sir.
Did they give you a response letter saying this is why we're dropping the charges?
They said, yeah, they won't admit flat out that it was because they had no jurisdiction. They'll just give you some, you know, some bogus. I believe the excuse was that well, the pandemic is almost over and we see no reason to continue with these charges or whatever. We're going to drop them, and that was it. You never heard from them again.
Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, we are actually over here exercising our right to travel. That's why we sent you a couple emails, Brian, to see if maybe we can do a live together as far as that topic.
Have I responded? Have I responded to the emails?
No, you haven't yet.
No,
sorry.
I know you get thousands of emails, man. It's okay.
Okay. Because your name sounds when I saw Roots to Sovereignty, is that how you sign your emails?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, because that looks really familiar to me.
Yep.
Yeah, we decided to put that channel up on YouTube. We haven't been really active because our audience is, as you can conclude, is Spanish speaking. So
right.
We're more active on WhatsApp. I have a channel there with a lot of documentation, Facebook, Telegram.
Mm-hmm.
But we're doing it. We're exercising our right to travel.
Yep.
I don't know if you got a chance to see the latest video we put out
on your channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put out two live streams the past couple of days, and we're kind of like getting into the details as far as what we're doing over here. We're going to the offensive. We're going to the police stations, and we're letting them know as far as, you know, what we're doing, how we're exercising our rights, and definitely we're putting them, you know, in check as far as if you violate our rights. This is the charges, as far as federal charges that are actually going to affect you if something happens to us.
We're going to the police stations, like she says, and we're putting them on notice is what we're doing. It's called constructive notice. So I typed up a document, or we both typed up a document, and we listed all the U.S. Supreme Court cases. We listed definitions. We listed, you know, everything. It's about a 5-page document, and we told them, you either respect our right to travel without the need of a driver's license and a registration, or as you've said on your channel very many times, you've mentioned Title 18, Section, Section 241 and 242, deprivation of rights on the color of law. And we haven't been stopped yet. We've had about 10 cops on our tail. They've been following us closely, and they just come out from behind and just take off. So we don't know if that's made an effect. The fact that we've taken these notices to a few police stations, and we've actually mailed a registered notice to the commissioner of police here in Puerto Rico. Right. We won't know. We won't know until we get stopped.
Well, I'll tell you what, send me another email, because I'm sure your other emails got buried, but if you can send me another email, maybe we can connect.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
I'll do that as soon as we disconnect over here.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you guys for coming on board.
Thanks for bringing us on board.
All right.
Take care.
Bye. Keep
Bye-bye.
keep
Yeah.
up the good work. And by the way, we sent Chille a great book from
Yes.
Anna Von Reitz.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Brian.
Of course.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ragnar is in the house. What's up, Ragnar?
Hey, yeah, I've listened to your show and your channel. I've been watching, I think, a little bit over about the past year. The reason I was calling was because you seem like someone who, I don't necessarily disagree, or I don't necessarily agree with some of the political statements you make, but I agree with the general sentiment and the exposing of all the criminal behavior of people in the government. And the reason that I'm kind of trying to reach out to you, I reached out a little bit to Chille because you guys seem to do live streams more commonly, and you don't take them down like some of the bigger channels. And I'm trying to see if there's anyone basically still left on YouTube who is interested in discussing, the whole history of the 20th century, not just in the U.S., but internationally, especially with the world wars, is how we got to this place. And so it's very difficult to completely reach or bring out the full scope of the discussion with free speech on YouTube, but just to at least be able to reach out to individuals. That's one of the biggest detriments that the censorship has done, is just actually disconnecting people from one another. It used to be 10 years ago where you could communicate with people who disagree with you on the same platforms. You could communicate with thousands of people online. I had podcasts that were taken down. I had channels that were taken down. And
For what reason? What reason do they give to take them down?
Well, because I was espousing nationalist opinions, and that's the first group that was censored and is completely censored off of the mainstream, social media platforms were nationalists, and they started the whole basically hate speech. You can take away hate speech, and you're still supposedly in favor of free speech. That whole process started about 10 years ago. And now they're using terms like free speech absolutist, that, it's very Orwellian, basically, where, and some people don't understand Animal Farm in 1984, well, especially Animal Farm, that was written about the Soviet Union. And the United States fought with the Soviet Union during World War II and upheld the Soviet Union long after it. And so all the things the problems that we're experiencing in society, or most of them, are products of the victors of World War II. And so that's something that you seem like someone who, I don't want to ramble too on until, I'm hoping to have some sort of discussion, because you seem like someone who, well, again, I'm not trying to convert people who are, I wouldn't call myself like a freedom lover or a constitutionalist or a nationalist, but or a patriot of the U.S. But I see a lot of good in people that come from your perspective, and so I'm trying to, just for the sake of still having some dialogue on this platform, just kind of try to reach out to those of you who really seem to care about the truth.
What format would you want to do that in? Like, would you want to do it in like a PowerPoint format or what?
Well, honestly, whatever you were comfortable with. What I usually do now is I communicate with the people who I still communicate with. I communicate with on Telegram, but I'm fine with email or anything. And really, it's just about kind of trying to get the truths about the world wars out there and trying to, in some way, sort of reconnect. I mean, to be fair, I'm probably being lazier than most people. A lot of people have gone to Twitter now, or he calls it X. A lot of people have gone to, what's the other one? You probably know the names better than I do. There's BitChute.com. There's
Rumble.
Rumble, exactly.
There's a lot of people who would have like a nationalist type background. Like, who's that guy? Nick Fuentes. Would you call him a nationalist?
I'm vaguely familiar with that name, but
Yeah, I think nationalism is kind of popular on Rumble. I mean, they're given a wide berth, I think, but I could also be calling somebody a nationalist who is not a nationalist. You know what I mean?
right. And to me, what I've learned in doing all these discussions is it's really more valuable. I had this guy who was, we'll just say, pretty much on the same page as me politically. And he came into a chat room and started putting people's private information out to try to like dox them. And
Yeah.
so I think it's more important just to communicate with people that, you have that sort of natural instinct. Are they a trustworthy person? Do they seem like someone who genuinely cares about the truth? And that's more important than, having a litmus test for political positions.
I
So
totally agree with that. I totally agree. Because I mean, we all psychologically and internally tend to put ourselves in our own boxes. And I think because of that, we want to put other people in boxes because it's easier to deal with them like that. But it could be completely dishonest, and maybe not even intentionally dishonest, but I think we're kind of trained to categorize people. And that's probably not a good starting point for an honest discussion.
absolutely, it's very, we don't realize how, in a sense, in some ways, post World War II history, at least in the United States, was very unique in terms of, to a degree, intellectual freedom. This idea of free speech, I think people are starting to realize it now, how fragile it is. And it was always censored the decades after World War II. The winners write history, and certainly the opinions of the losers in World War II were heavily censored, but not as
Mhm.
much in the U.S. because we've always kind of been separated from the troubles of the world, domestically at least. Well, now that's changing, and so people in this country are starting to realize that some people are. Some people are starting to realize how easily that freedom can be taken away. Others are, um, they're because they're being threatened. See, here's what's happening. So, the reason why a lot of people on the right are supporting the police when they otherwise wouldn't, like the type of stuff that people on the right are saying about the police, they would have never said 40 years ago. But now they're being threatened with immigration. They're being threatened with the austerity economic measures. So they're latching on to police when in other cases they never would. And if you look at the examples that they're putting out there, like that they put out there, black people being killed by the police, when in fact white people have been killed in higher numbers, maybe not higher percentage, but higher numbers.
Yeah.
They're specifically choosing the cases that are less clear cut. So to get white conservatives to follow the police and think that the police are there to protect them, and that's I mean, to be honest, I would more precisely call myself like, people don't understand. You have to understand the biggest lies are the ones that are the most holy. So the things that would trigger you, if I were to talk about race, or if I were to talk about, and I'm not going to because this is YouTube and whatever. I mean, I would be fine with it, but I just don't want to. I don't want to take you on too much of a tangent. I know the purpose of your show is to talk about the police. But if people talk about those topics that trigger you, or eugenics, or all this stuff, we're heavily programmed to just shut down that conversation and to view that as evil, because the people that control us, they don't want us to even begin to have the conversation. So if you look at all the things, there's a saying, people attribute it to different people, but if you want to learn who rules over you, simply find out who you're not allowed to criticize.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great one for anyone that's just kind of starting to look into the different topics. But the one thing I will mention that I think would be more pertinent to kind of your work is I want to hear more. I want to hear more guys like you mentioning Bradley v. Fisher, 1871, where the Supreme Court admitted in their own words that they are civilly liable from being corrupt and malicious. Even if you can prove that a judge is corrupt and malicious in his decision against you, you can't sue him for one dime. And so, in their own words,
what's the name of the guy?
No, it's a Supreme Court case, Bradley v. Fisher, 1871. And the Supreme Court said this is one of the maybe the first big case in terms of judicial immunity. The Supreme Court said, they used these words, they were, even if you can show that a judge was corrupt or malicious, they're still civilly immune from any lawsuit.
Oh my God.
Those are their words, corrupt or malicious. So you can say, I mean, evil and demon are fine words, but I think it's better to say it's a legal fact that all judges in the United States are corrupt and malicious by law, their words, just like you rightfully point out that the United States is a corporation. It was a corporation that supplanted an empire, in all honesty, but it's never been a nation. But anyways, and then going beyond that, all cops are felons because they're legally, as you pointed out, they're legally allowed, or quote unquote legally allowed, to commit felonious restraint and false imprisonment and felony perjury. With Terry, Ohio, and then was it Mims versus Pennsylvania? I know you know these better than I do.
Yep, Pennsylvania versus Mims. Yeah, they're empowered, they're supported, and they're provided with qualified immunity for doing the very things where if we did the same things, we'd be arrested and rightly jailed. Hey man, I'm up against, I got to be out of here at 7 and it's 6:56. I appreciate it. Just contact at highimpactflix.com is my email. So reach out to me. I'd be interested in having maybe a panel discussion on this. And if you can throw up maybe a PowerPoint presentation, I think that'll solidify what you're saying in the minds of people.
Okay. So if I go to that and I try to email you through that site, that's the best way to do it.
Contact at highimpactflix.com. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Will do. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Thanks. Hey, I'm sorry for everybody else who's waiting. I got to go, man. I didn't expect to be on this long. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for being a part of the stream. Remember, Chille is still in prison. He loves your letters. He loves your packages. If he can hear from you in some way, it really lifts his spirit. So I appreciate you guys supporting. Don't forget to get a trifold, get one of the hoodies, get one of the cop cards. The links are in the description below. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next live stream. Take care.